Hi, I'm here with Cindy Davidson from Cardinal Health at HCM Excellence Conference 2018. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
It's great to have you. So
Thanks.
tell me a little bit about yourself and your responsibilities at Cardinal Health.
Sure. I'm Vice President of Sales Training, so I head up sales training responsibility for the medical segment of my corporation, which entails a number of different sales forces that cover everything from negative pressure wound therapy to med-surg distribution and kind of everything in between. So we've got approximately 1,000 to 1,500, depending on how you slice and dice, slice it between all of our marketing teams and sales reps and managers. We tend to deliver a lot of different types of training for those groups.
Oh, great. And salespeople they're probably one of the hardest people to get to take training.
They're my favorite because that's where I started. I was a sales rep right out of college and ultimately then moved into training a number of years ago now. But I've now spent more than half of my career with Cardinal in management, where before that I was in the field in sales. So I think I bring a really strong identification with what it's like to be a sales rep in the field and not always having an office to go to and learning as you go. And that's why I think as we have continued to progress with learning and training, how important it is that you look at the right kinds of technologies and know that as a sales rep who's in your car behind the windshield, there's only so much time and so many different ways to be able to connect, and you have to be able to get those short, kind of fast, quick, but really engaging types of interactions with them to make sure that people are learning what they need to and retaining what they need.
And that's what makes it more effective, especially with sales teams and sales professionals, because they're traveling a lot, they are on calls a lot, and they need information. And sometimes they don't know what they don't know.
They are definitely the face of the company to customers, and so you want to make sure that they are well informed. As well as skilled. You know, there's the product knowledge, but then there's also the skill set that you need. So there's a lot to cover with them in a very short amount of time.
And you've been with Cardinal Health for
a long time. Yes,
right?
Actually, it'll be 35 years this summer.
Wow, you look too young to be at a company
Thank
for
you.
that long.
Yeah.
You look remarkable. And it sounds like the company that you're with is pretty remarkable. And especially in this time, being able to retain talent for really more than 2 years. How did they keep you for, 35 years?
Well, I think because there's been so much change in healthcare, even from when I started till now, you always read about healthcare in the newspaper. And I think that's part of what keeps it exciting and how important it is. I think everybody can look at what they do and the product or service or organization that they work for, and you have to have a real strong connection to what you're doing. And I just feel as though, for me, trying to better healthcare, knowing that at the end of the day, our products and services really are touching somebody that is having surgery that day, is sitting in a doctor's office, might be in a nursing home, is at home getting care. Our products and services really do reach them, and we really do have a direct touch with all of them. It's important.
And we talked about that today in our keynote about engagement, and happy employees don't necessarily mean engaged employees. It's about meaningful work, and it sounds like that's what you've been able to be involved with at your organization.
I think so, and it's been gratifying that we actually do have a very long-term tenure with a lot of our folks. We know that we're continuing to have millennials and as Gen Xers, continue to move through the organization, but people want to stay. We're also a really big company, so you can change jobs, you can change careers, and never leave the company, which also I think is a benefit.
So you've been able to find different experiences within your organization, and we see in our research that if it's the right fit, that you can have a better impact by staying in the organization than always making a change, thinking that you're going to that the grass is always greener.
Right.
So sometimes, however, not every organization is the right organization for everyone. But if you have the opportunity to have the experience and the opportunity to grow, and it's a good fit, that's a win-win.
It is.
So what's next? What initiatives do you have coming up?
Well, we just are completing another acquisition. So we have been on a cross-training palooza the last couple of months. Next week we have a national sales meeting. And then we were really looking, as we've brought on this other company, how do we get into our next fiscal year with a new steady state? And what does that look like? Because we did actually acquire a fair number of sales reps and new products, and how do you harmonize, which is a word that we've been using a lot, the approach that we do for training.
Okay.
Because sometimes medical device and more distribution, they're very different ways of approaching training sometimes, but you still want to make sure that you are creating a really consistent approach for everyone. Yeah,
Okay.
so
Makes
that's
sense.
what's next. Yeah.
Yeah. And what have you taken away being at the Excellence Conference this week?
You know, I think it's interesting to see how different industries approach things. You know, I think about some of like Bank of America and others where there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people that they need to get to. My little piece, even of a very large corporation, you know, can learn from that. I think that there's great opportunity still to get into more gamification. Just
That's
have to
exciting.
find the right way to do it for sales reps, and I think that they are always an apt audience for that. So that was great. Some of my colleagues were really more in the blended learning session, and they got very jazzed up about some of the things they learned there.
Oh, good.
Thought that was really good. I think those were some of the things I think that we were taking away so far.
Well, great, Cindy.
Thank you.
And besides your normal working day, what's your passion? What do you like to do as far as hobbies?
Hobbies, I do some embroidery, which I know sounds so like old-fashioned, but it's really calming. But I also
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I love going to movies
haven't tried
too.
embroidery since I was young. My grandmother taught me, but I hear as you're an adult, it is like therapeutic.
It is. I mean, it also helps, you know, you sit down. I love watching movies, whether it's going to the theater or just, you know, at home, and it's something to do because many of us, you have to kind of multitask. You can't just do one thing.
Right.
So that's part of it too. And then a little over a year ago, I became a grandma, so I try to get to see my grandson
congratulations.
as often as I can, although
Oh,
he's in Boston and I'm in Chicago, so I try to
Okay.
make that work.
Oh, that's great. Well, Cindy, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for being here at the Excellence Conference.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.